I wanted to make this video. Uh, I've been meaning to get to it for a little while now. It's in regards to Saudi Arabia's preparation for the World Cup and why it's important enough to make a video about it. Saudi Arabia are one of Egypt's opponents in the 2018 World Cup this summer in Russia. They'll be in the opening match against the host nation, and then they play Egypt in their last group game. But I wanted to talk about this because I feel like you compare Saudi Arabia's preparation for the tournament to Egypt's. It really it infuriates me because I feel like they've been going about it more daringly and honestly smarter than we have, and that's both in the friendly fixtures that they've been booking as well as some actions they've taken to get their players ready for the World Cup. And there's basically three things here that's going on that I think gives Saudi Arabia, as far as preparations go, an edge over my Egypt team, which worries me because, uh, we need to do as best as we can in our group if we want to have a chance of getting out. So, number one, Saudi Arabia, many of people don't know this, but earlier, about a month or so ago, Saudi Arabia sent 9 of its national team players to on loan to La Liga, the Spanish league in the first and second divisions. 9 players to all sorts of different clubs in the country, and they did this to give their players a more experience of playing at a higher level. And La Liga itself being a highly competitive league, certainly they would face, stiffer opposition there than in the World Cup group, which is by many estimates the weakest World Cup group for 2018. Most of Saudi Arabia's national team players play in the local Saudi league. So in order to give the players a sort of experience of playing at a much more difficult level, they sent them on loan to Spain. I think that's a brilliant idea. And here I'm going to name some of the players that they sent. You have players like Salim Al-Dawsari, who's going to Villarreal, Yahya El-Sheri to Leganes, and Levante is taking Fahad Al-Muwallad. And, there's a whole bunch of other internationals that are playing in different clubs in the second tier of Spain as well. And I think that, given that Saudi Arabia's opposition is Russia, Egypt, and albeit a very good Uruguay side, I still think that sending them to a top European division is pretty much the best thing they could be doing right before a World Cup, even if they have to pay a lot of money for it. Number two, their friendly fixtures. Saudi Arabia has set up more than twice the amount of friendly games than Egypt has. And when you include the games that they participated in the Arabian Gulf Cup in late 2017, Saudi Arabia is playing even more games in preparation. I believe since qualifying for the World Cup, they're playing as many as 15 games. Egypt is playing 4. So that's actually 3 times the amount of games that Egypt are playing. Now, some of these are because Saudi Arabia had to participate in the Gulf Nations Cup, but also the number of friendlies that they themselves scheduled independently have outnumbered that of Egypt's. And they have been playing opposition such as Belgium. They're going to play Italy soon in May. Then they're going to play Germany, the defending world champions. They're going to play Germany. They're probably going to lose that match, but it's going to prepare them for going up against teams of lesser quality in the group stage, like Russia, Egypt, and yes, even Uruguay. So, Saudi Arabia, they've only really notched up wins in the last few months against sides like Kuwait and Moldova. But so what? If they get their ass kicked a little bit against teams that are among the best in the world, that's going to battle harden them. It's going to help them. It's going to help them in a group that is not very strong like Group A this summer. So I applaud the Saudis very much for that. I wish we did the same. And lastly, their coach, Juan Antonio Pizzi, is a much better manager than Hector Cúper, who is the manager of Egypt. Both are Argentine men, and while it's true that Juan Antonio Pizzi failed to qualify Chile for the World Cup, Chile had a whole bunch of other problems that contributed to them not qualifying. Additionally, Juan Antonio Pizzi won the Copa America 2016 Centenario with Chile. Meanwhile, Hector Cúper, he didn't really get us to the World Cup. It was Mohamed Salah who got us, and a lot of Egyptian football analysts are not a fan of Hector Cúper's ultra-defensive, borderline anti-football playing style. I'm not a fan at all of Hector Cúper's tenure as manager. The only thing that could be said is that the defense has improved, but the dependency in playing long balls up forward to Mohamed Salah. I mean, other than Mohamed Salah, the only really midfield attacking threat Egypt has is Abdallah Al-Said. And I just don't like the way Egypt is preparing for the World Cup. I don't have a good feeling about it. I don't think Hector Cúper is a very good manager, but Juan Antonio Pizzi is a very decent manager. And the Saudis got him. We don't. So those are the three things that I feel Saudi Arabia have an advantage in for the World Cup. Just the preparation, the number of friendlies they're playing, and who they're playing against, and also their manager is just better than Egypt's manager. And even though a lot of people don't think Saudi Arabia are contenders to come out of their group, I absolutely believe Saudi Arabia can advance. Let me just say that right now. Saudi Arabia can advance out of this group. Maybe if they were in the group with Spain and Portugal, then yeah, most likely no. But in a group with a Russia team that is not very good, Egypt team that is certainly not very good, sorry, I love them to death, though. And then Uruguay, of course, is a tough cookie, but still, Saudi Arabia can come out of this group. They have World Cup pedigree. This is their 5th World Cup. They have some really decent players as well. And Pizzi could just, do enough to get them through. So I wanted to make this video because it's sort of been bothering me for a while because I'm worried. I'm worried about Saudi Arabia possibly playing spoiler in the group. They could upset one of Russia, Egypt, or Uruguay and finish in the top 2 spots. And I felt that this is a topic that is important enough to talk about. So, there you have it. That's it for tonight. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully, God willing. Until then, have a good one. Much love and peace out.